Hello and welcome to Red Door Conversations, Real Talk and Real Tea. My name is Kimberly Dixon Dudley and I am joined here today with my lovely co-host, Miss Lisa White.
Yes, all the way from P-Land. I'm glad to be here, girl.
Pearland, Texas. How's it going, Tana Young?
It is going wonderful. So happy to be here this morning.
Good. Marla Lewis, what's going on?
Man, so much is going on.
So much. And we have a good show today. So you are going to want to stay tuned. Our topic today is, are we headed into the next real estate boom?
Y'all can't miss this, but before we go to break, you ladies look absolutely amazing today.
Oh
my God.
Real
Girl,
estate.
that green, you're giving it to us in that green, honey. Oh, yes, Tana, you look amazing. And Marla, I see you laced up.
All right.
Good way to start the show. We're ready for
Yes,
it.
girl.
All right.
What did you say that topic was?
The topic today is, are we headed towards the next real estate boom?
Y'all can't miss this.
Don't miss it.
Do not move.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Again, when we left, we were telling you about today's topic. Are we headed towards another real estate crash?
Uh-oh.
And if you have been on the internet, you have looked at TV, heard the radio, you've heard this term, and we're here to tell you a little bit about what we think, and based upon some of the statistics and facts and historical data. So we're going to dive right in today. We're going to dive right in. You know, if we really are in the middle of a perfect storm. We're in the middle of a perfect storm. We've got the pandemic. We have crazy, ridiculous price spikes, historically low inventory. I think we're at a 40-year low in inventory. And so, you know, those are all the things that are making the, you know, creating some uncertainty in the marketplace right now. We're going to talk about that and what that means to you if you're in this market and planning to buy or sell. But first, I want to talk about how the pandemic is affecting the market, but specifically the number of forbearances that we're seeing. I think as of February, March, we were at 2.6 million forbearances.
Yes.
And so, Lisa, I want to ask you to explain to the audience what's a forbearance, but also, like, tell them what they need to prepare for. What type of consequences do we need to prepare for all these forbearances that are about to come to term here in the near future?
Because there are some, I'm glad you used the word consequence, because there are some as it relates to you, you know, to asking or receiving a forbearance.
Right.
So just to kind of bring you guys up to speed, when the pandemic started, the president at the time approved what we call the CARES Act. In the CARES Act, part of that was to allow homeowners that was experiencing some reduction in income or no income at all, they could put their mortgage payments on hold for a certain period of time. You were granted 90 days. If you were still in a distressed situation after those 90 days, you were awarded another 90 days. And so what I'm hearing though from some of my clients and just kind of talking to other real estate professionals, I'm hearing that these forbearances are going to the tune of a year or so. And so you're now in a situation where you haven't paid your mortgage for an entire year. So what the lender is doing, please note that a forbearance is always going to benefit the lender and not you, the client or the customer.
Now, why do you say that?
Right, borrower. Because the terms that are put in place are to benefit the lender. So they're not, it's you got to understand that monthly mortgage that you're skipping, that is not going away. Okay?
That's right.
It is going to the back of the loan. That's one option. They put it to the back of the loan. Now, specifically for the CARES Act, they're not supposed to charge you any interest, fees, or anything to put your loan in forbearance. Now, also, you're not supposed to experience any credit consequences. Correct. You're not supposed to experience any credit consequences. However, I've been hearing that the credit bureaus are
Reporting.
Really?
And so you have to go back and call them and get it right. Okay? You have to stay on it and you have to monitor your credit. That's the first thing. So you are going to pay that money back. They put it to the back of the loan, and what they're doing is now they're recalibrating your loan. Okay, and that ends up being a loan modification, which is I'm totally against them, because that interest rate is higher once they redo the loan modification.
Also, another point. Now you've added this bulk of money to the end of your loan.
Right.
It still exists. It hasn't gone.
It hasn't gone anywhere.
Right? When you get ready to sell your home, you don't have as much equity in your home as you may have thought you had.
That's a consequence.
That's a
So
consequence.
that's leading to my next point.
Mhm.
So if you are in a forbearance, they will not refinance your home, and you cannot purchase another home
Right.
until you come out of forbearance status. How do you come out of forbearance status? All of those mortgages that you miss, you now have to pay that lump sum. That is how you come out of forbearance. So if you're looking to sell your home or refinance your home,
That's right.
you gotta bring it present.
Wait a minute, stop, pause right there. So a buyer cannot sell their home? I mean, a homeowner cannot sell their home if they're in forbearance?
No, you cannot.
And that's
You
what
have to
a
change the
lot.
status.
Yeah, you have to
You
change
have to
the
come out of
status.
forbearance
Yes.
in order to do that.
And
And
see that right there, a lot of
And you
people
can-
don't
and you
think
know.
that that's part of their strategy. I'm not gonna pay this mortgage.
you
I'm
can't
gonna sell it.
I'm gonna
Right.
sell it.
You
Right.
cannot refinance either.
So we're gonna take a beat real quick, because I'm gonna give everybody a chance to go get
Wow.
a pen and
Right.
some paper, because we told you we were gonna give you some good information. You're gonna write this down. You're gonna wanna write this
Woo,
down.
woo, woo.
So we'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. We're back. This is Red Door Conversations, Real Talk and Real Tea. We left you talking about forbearances, and we were giving you some good information. So I hope you got your pen and paper. Lisa, what were you saying about selling your property during the forbearance?
I want to re-clarify, perhaps. You can sell your home, but here's the deal. The mortgages that you haven't paid during the time you were in forbearance, that money is still going to be owed. So let's just say you don't have any equity in your home. If you sell that property, that is cash that you're going to be bringing to the table in order to move the house.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's what I mean when I say you cannot sell it. If you don't have that cash already in hand, you're not going to be able to sell the property.
Mhm.
I had a situation like that. My client had to come up with the funds because he had did a loan modification without me knowing. And when we got ready to sell it, the title company, when they did the title search, there was a second lien. It's a second lien that's added to your home. Okay, so that's one of the consequences. Another consequence is that you, as the borrower, need to make sure you get a full understanding of the repayment plan. Every lender has a different repayment plan.
That's right.
Correct. Every lender, and some lenders are more lenient than others. So you need to find out and get a full understanding. If you don't understand what's going on, pull your realtor in, the person that sold you the house, so that they can sit down with you and help you navigate that process. A third consequence that I know is that the repayment plan may be questionable. It's not something you can feasibly do. You need to make sure that however they're recalibrating your loan, you need to make sure it's something that you can do. Because if you only bring in $2,400 a month, they're recalibrating that to $1,800. That's not something you can do.
So this is what I've heard. This is what I've read. I've talked to some lenders about this. You know, when we talked about different repayment plans, one of them is you go back to your original payment. That's an option, right? But the other option is that they add on an additional payment to your monthly payment until you've cured your debt.
Yes.
So if your
that's
normal
two
payment was
separate-
$1,500 a month, you might end up paying $1,900 or $2,000 a month for 6 months, or another 8 months until you've cured that debt. So to your point, you've
Right.
got to make sure you're capable of carrying an additional debt based on your lender's requirements, because every lender is different.
So before we leave this portion of the show, I just want to make sure that you guys understand those forbearances and loan modifications are made to protect the lender. They are made to protect the lender. If you don't absolutely have to, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I've heard some people talk about, oh, get your forbearance and save that money. No, baby.
It's not saving.
You're gonna-
I mean, you may be saving, but you got to pay it.
You have to
Yes, that's
eventually
still
pay it
owed.
back.
You know,
Right.
and the thing about that, Lisa, I've heard that too. I've heard people say, well, they're offering it right now, so I'm
Right,
just
right.
going to take it. And there are, because of COVID, so much income loss, but there are people that did not necessarily need to do that.
Exactly.
And if you don't need to do it, that's
Don't do
certainly
it.
something
Don't do
that
it.
you don't want to do.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
So the topic of today's show is, are we headed towards the next real estate crash?
Mhm.
And I didn't share my opinion up front, but I think it's yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because of the forbearances that we just talked about and the confusion surrounding those. But another reason I think we're headed towards a real estate crash is the price spikes, these price increases.
Oh, man.
Not just, we talked about this in the last show, I think, not just here locally in Houston or Texas, but nationally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I was reading that Texas Realtors provided our update, our monthly update.
Yes,
Median prices in Texas have risen by 13.5%.
exactly.
Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but let me explain. That means if you were looking at a house last year for $200,000, that same house is now priced at $227,000. I'm just talking affordable terms. But think about that. That's
Yeah.
almost $30,000 more
Mhm.
in a 12-month calendar period.
And you said something key. You said priced at 227.
Mhm.
However, with the market we're in, multiple offer situations,
Oh.
they could easily go for
Sell.
235.
35. Right.
Yes.
And-
Right.
With no concerns of it not appraising.
Right.
Oh,
Because people are
making up the difference.
making up the difference.
exactly.
Making up the difference.
People actually, like you said, they're making up the difference. They're ready. People are like, I need a house to stay in,
Right.
and I'm willing to go ahead and pay make up the difference of 10,000, 15,000, whatever.
And the mistake that buyers are making, guys, is they're saying, okay, this will pass. And so home prices will eventually, that's a no-no. So if you wait now for a house that's 227
To go down.
to go down,
It's
then
not
next year
happening.
you're gonna be paying 240, 245 for that same house.
Yes.
So that's another consequence.
Yeah.
That's another consequence.
Waiting.
So
It is.
Marla, what are your thoughts? I mean, these sharp increases and just spikes in prices all over. How do you think that this is really going to affect our market? How do you think this may lead to a potential market crash?
The thing about it is, I'm the same as you, Kim. My thought process is yes and no. I don't think that the prices will drop.
No.
The drop that people are waiting for to happen, I don't believe it's going to happen, and I don't believe it's going to happen for maybe a couple years. I think that when we're talking about a crash per se, I think that it's not going to be the same. People think about the market in 2008, 2009.
Right.
It definitely is not going to be the same
That's
because
a crash.
the things that we have in place right now are totally different.
Right.
Exactly.
We're looking at what buyers are just willing to pay for a particular property. And so when I'm talking to someone that says, I think I'll wait in terms of, because what if we are headed for a crash?
Right.
What if the prices do
Come
decrease?
down. Right.
I don't see that happening, and I think that for a buyer especially, you can still take advantage of the low interest rates.
Yes.
Because
So rates
Great
now
point,
are
Marla.
right.
2.5. I had a client
Yes.
close at 2.15, 2.175 the other day.
And that's not even
That's
including
nothing
if they buy
for
down their
interest.
rate.
Right.
Now
Right.
you're looking at 1 point or maybe 0.005
I think
or something
it's-
like that.
I think it's critical to let them know that in order to get those type of interest rates, your credit score needs to be 700 plus.
Yeah,
It needs
right.
to be in the 700, 800. Don't come in there talking about you got a 580 wanting to 1.9. No,
No, not happening.
No. no, it's not happening.
No.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a strange time to be alive. Marla, you said something yesterday, and I'm trying to recall. You said if the market auto corrects, which it will. We've all lived through auto corrections.
Yes.
It'll be a soft
It's
correction.
going to be a soft, people are saying, it's time for a market correction. I believe that will happen, but I also believe that it'll be soft, especially here in Texas. You think about the 2008, 2009 era where it was definitely a crash.
Oh, yeah.
But even then, compared to the nation, what Texas did and how we, we leveled off. I also believe that as the interest rates rise, it is going to have it to level off just a little bit. But I also believe that that will just in turn have the buyers to be able to afford less of a home
Exactly.
than they would right now.
Another point I want to add is that the difference between where we are today and where we were in 2008, those lending practices are way more stringent.
Yes.
Yes. So, back in 2008.
Hold that thought. We're going to go to a quick break because this is a good part of the show,
Yes.
and you don't want to miss it. Hey there, welcome back to Red Door Conversations, and thank you all for sticking with us. We left off in the last segment talking about lending practices. So our topic today is, are we headed towards the next real estate crash? And so, early on I said, yes, but my reason for saying no is because of some really strong lending practices we have in place right now. And Lisa, you were talking about the lending practices before we left off in the last segment.
Right. So the difference between where we are today and where we were in 2008, lenders were able to use a program called stated income. In stated income, all you had to do is tell the lender how much you made. And that lender took that information that you verbally told them and qualified you for a loan. And that in itself was a big contributor to why
market crash in 2008.
Yeah, it was a major contributor. Now, that's not so much. I mean, you feel like they are just digging so deep into your life right now.
What's your blood type?
Yeah.
Right. A long way for blood type.
Right. And so, however, we have to, as real estate professionals, guys, we have to appreciate that because that keeps our market
in a
right where
protected
it
space.
is.
In a protected
I like that, girl. Come on here. Protected space.
Right.
I mean, because if they were to incorporate those programs, loan programs that caused the crash,
Stated income.
yes, then we would not be in that protected space. So that's that's a key reason, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I think the same thing. I said earlier, I think that times are different now. And so with that and with the protection that we have as far as the lending practices now, that's why I don't think that people should wait. I don't think that the because of a crash we're going to have the prices of the homes, a $400,000 home is now a $200,000 home.
Right.
I
Don't wait on
like
that.
No, I don't
wait
see
on
that
that.
happening.
You'll be renting for eternity if you're waiting for that to take place.
Yes. And also, people have been waiting for the past 5 years. I had a conversation maybe in about 2017 with someone who was saying, well, Marla, you really don't see. Yes.
That was 5 years ago.
You don't see a market correction in sight. You have to know how to navigate these waters, and that's what we've been doing for, I know myself, almost 20 years now.
Well, exactly. I'm
Look at
in
those
August,
trends.
it'll be 20 years for me as well, Marla. So we're going to celebrate together, girl. So you have to
take it all
to navigate this process. You have to have yourself a trusted real estate professional that is going to give you proper counsel through
because
this.
a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm scared. I keep hearing real estate crash. Well, if you've got a real estate professional like one of us on your team, then we can help. Okay, we were in the market in 2007 and 2008.
Absolutely.
We know what's different. We know how to help you navigate the lending process. What is the lender going to ask you for? How do you get prepared for that? Can you get a loan at 460 credit score?
Not anymore.
No. No. We're just going to tell you that.
Maybe
right
10 years ago.
We will help you to get your score up. We will
Absolutely. We have relationships with credit restoration companies that can help you. So if that is your situation, do not be dismayed. this is a power team right here. We
There
can
you
get
go.
it
We're gonna
done.
get you going the right way.
Right. So no more stated loans, no more income-based, bank statement-based loans, no more low credit loans. And so to that point, I think that's what's helping. We've said this before. What's helping us not go
That's
so
it, Kim.
fast towards the crash. So we've got the pandemic and a ton of forbearances that are lingering out there, and
We touched on that.
we touched on that, and buyers will want to get with their real estate professional, help them navigate that process because it can be
Exactly.
complex. It's not just easy and on its face.
No.
A simple process to unwind once you've gotten into it,
Yeah.
right? So we've talked about forbearances. We've talked about huge spikes in
Yes.
pricing, right? I mean, this is just unprecedented in the amount of
It really is, Kim.
And it's gonna,
and it's going to continue.
Yeah.
So City of Houston has, our consumer price index for the City of Houston is 3%. So that means we appreciate on a 3% basis annually. That's just normally. That's not considering these $30,000 and $50,000 jumps we're seeing in a calendar year. So you're going to want to have somebody help you navigate. Should you put an offer in, $10,000, $20,000 above list price? Zillow is probably not going to give you the most accurate information. So you're going to want to partner with your real estate professional so they can help you say, well, here's your market analysis we've done. We can reasonably, it's not an appraisal, but within a reasonable scope of fact, we can tell you that this home will be valued or should be valued in this price point. So you're not in a position where you've paid $50,000 and $60,000 above price.
Right.
Trying to negotiate and be the accepted offer, and then you're upside down when you're trying to sell the property.
right.
So,
That's something really.
so we talked about forbearances, we
consider.
talked about price spikes, we've talked about loan regulations being our stabilizer. And so that's, if there's one key point to take from this is it may be more difficult to get a loan, but that's what's protecting the market that you're purchasing in. Smart financing and smart lending, right? Anybody have any unique experiences they want to share?
Do you? I don't.
I do. This is what I wanted to point out. In this crazy market, in this, are we headed for a crash? What will happen next? The thing that we want to make sure that people know and understand is this. We talked about partnering with a real estate professional like one of us, but also one of the reasons that you want to do that is so that that person can find out what your end game is. For example, with being afraid of a crash and all of that, well, one of the things you can do, if you tell me, hey, Marla, I'm looking for a property that I can live in for maybe 3 years. My consultation, my advice, what I foresee, of course we don't have a crystal ball, but what I can look at the market trends and things that have happened in the past to give you information may differ from someone who says, well, you know what, Marla, I'm going to make a $60,000 above asking price. I'm going to live here for the next,
this is
20
years.
years.
Right.
So that's the thing that people have to understand too. Each situation is totally different, and for that reason, you want to have, different scenarios that will work for you and your family.
Great point, Marla.
Exactly.
Great
Absolutely.
point.
Yes.
So all good information. Again, I hope you had your pen and paper. This has been a show where you've gotten a lot of information, and it'll be useful for you in your home buying journey. So we're going to take a beat for a second, and then we'll
come back. But before we do, I just want to say, do not be afraid of where we are.
Right.
Don't be afraid of where we are. It's a good place. Okay? And so it's a great place to be in. If you had it in mind to purchase a home, move forward with that in mind. Just call one of us.
Yeah. It's still a healthy market.
Exactly. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Red Door Conversations, and we were talking about the question, are we headed towards a next real estate crash? And we've had a great show today.
Yes. Absolutely.
We have unpacked a lot of information, and I just want to know what your takeaways are. What is something you want to share with the audience before we wrap up today?
For the audience, I would like for you guys that are in a forbearance, be informed on that forbearance. Know what the guidelines to that forbearance is. And if you have questions about it, anyone here at the table is available. Tana, what is your takeaway?
I would say my takeaway is to not be afraid to buy. Now is the time, if you're able, if you're in the position to buy, now is the time to do so. Just contact one of us and we'll get you going.
Yeah. I think my takeaway for the show is to make sure that you are looking at the numbers. Make sure that you have a professional that you're working with that knows the numbers. The increase, like we talked about earlier, the price of homes have increased by 13.5%. That's huge. I know 13 is not a big number, but that's huge. But in that increase, you don't want to make the mistake of trying to sit on the fence with an increase as such. That's my takeaway.
Excellent.
All excellent points. And, that is going to do it for us today.
That's
Yes,
it.
it will.
So that'll end our show today. We want to thank you all so much for sharing some of your valuable time with us. We hope you took away some good information that you can use in your home buying process. You can contact one of the ladies of Red Door Conversation. You can Google us for more information about us. But we are going to sign off now. Until next time, we are going to be sharing real estate and realty. But we're gone for the day. Bye.
Bye-bye.